Hello and welcome to Out in the Wash, a podcast about everything EastEnders, Emmerdale and Coronation Street. My name's Jane and this is episode 11. 11! 1-1! Let's go! I'm still sick. I have quite a bad cough at the minute, so I do apologise. I will try and stop recording each time I need to cough, but if I don't manage it, like I say, I'm sorry. I have a glass of water next to me, but it's just a cough. Everything else I feel okay. I'm just tired a lot as well. So, perfect opportunity to sit down, grab a cup of tea, and let's talk everything EastEnders first, as always. I have made no notes again this week. Now, I still can't find a balance between making all the notes and losing the sort of joy of watching, and then having the joy of watching, and then my brain going, I can't remember anything. I can't remember a thing. All I've got this week, I suppose the Lauren and the cars and Mark and Max have been kind of the top theme to a point. And then we'll get into, then there are the smaller others ones. So Max has realised that he kind of needs to take a back seat. Monday's episode was an absolute saving grace in EastEnders. And I have many reasons as to why things aren't working in EastEnders, but Monday, thank heavens for Darren Little, bringing Cora back. As I said this week, Cora could potentially be... It was like having Aunt Sal around. When Aunt Sal used to turn up at a mixture family gathering, whether wedding, funeral, birthday, whatever, christening, and just roast everyone and then just trot off home. That's Cora. It was just stunning. So well delivered. Is she ill? Is something going to happen to her? The way she was talking, the way she was at the dinner table, she was like, oh, where was I? Which is, that's perfectly normal, actually. That's perfectly conversational. Where was I? I don't remember things. Doesn't mean I'm dying. But the way she was towards Oscar and Lauren, I suppose she's not getting any younger. But it was just lovely to have her around that table in that house as well. And like the bit with Kathy and Ian at the window, remembering Lou as what a great grandmother she was to have, but also as a freaking nightmare for a mother-in-law. Like, two things can be true. So having Cora wind up Max and him just getting up and going, even though Max, you weren't invited. And I really think Ian was kind of trying to save you there. It wasn't really, Max to me wasn't causing the problems, but he was meaning that things weren't going to get any nicer in the room. So, maybe it's time, off you go. But the only problem I had was 1 minute Oscar was, he's gone back to bed, and then Oscar didn't come home. Which is it? We're not checking these things. It's like, so my biggest bugbear of the past few weeks that's finally come to light, and I'm jumping around here, but it's still in my brain, and if I have to get it out, because is the lack of continuity checking. The fact that when Nugget had a seizure last week or the week before, Will was supposed to be on holiday in Cornwall with Honey and Billy, yet he was there filming it, and then suddenly he's back from holiday. Because what? This is where EastEnders are failing, because there was another line as well later on about how Sam was like, I just want to be around for my kid. You were going to go off to Spain and have your radio therapy back over there. How is that being around? And now suddenly you've changed your mind. Just things aren't adding up. But Mondays, 80%, thank God, it worked. There was this lovely bit because Jean had come back and then she'd upset Zoe, but I don't know why Zoe felt the need to shout on a FaceTime though. The FaceTime's right there. Is it to show that she's not au fait with this kind of technology because she's that little bit older than the rest of us, but I just thought, hold on, like you just don't need to shout. That got on my nerves as well. And just random to have a storyline about old cat staying because Lynn's dog. You know when just things are put in for the sake of it, and you just think, no, that's not true, is it? Like, I don't know, Jesse's on annual leave, or you've just wrote this for the plot. What? That frustrates me, and it was where EastEnders can get a bit, oh, we'll just make up any old story about a dead dog, a dog dying. Does it grate on anyone else, or is it just me? So yes, Jean back ends up making sort of, not making, is it friendship? Is it not? Coming to a sort of truce with Zoe. Even though damn right she should be told, yeah, sorry, you were right about Jasmine. So those two kind of sort things out, and Max and Lauren sort of sort things out, but then one day Lauren sees the guy who stole the car from her and realises that Mark's involved in that because he's talking to him, and then she says she don't want any more cars from him. Then Max oversees that and he tries to get involved. And I mean, Max, I know you think you're doing the right thing, and I feel like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you don't get involved, it's like, oh, well, you just sit back and did nothing. And if you do get involved, it's like, no, stay out. So he can do no wrong, no right. He is just Max. That is where he's at with things. So yeah, anybody else, that man. And then at the end, we have another scene where him and Cindy are ripping each other's clothes off. Does that mean yeah, she could be the bride? Would that make Ian's best man speech lines a bit more relevant but still weird? Does he think Cindy's still hot? Ew. Like, 1 minute he does and 1 minute he doesn't. Depends who's writing. Really does. And this is where EastEnders you're slipping up. If this flash forward doesn't make sense, I think we're done. Like, you've had time to sort this out. You've got a whole year to make things work. You might think you're dropping red herrings in, but we need it to work. We need it to be clever. That's how other ones have been done. We need you to also mop up after yourself as well. I'm so worried about this, and I'm still not happy with the way things are. And then of course we had Josh and his adopted mum come in. His adopted, I want to say Sandra. Is it Sandra? Why do I not? I need to make notes, isn't it? Write these names down. She's asking questions. People are thinking she's a journalist or maybe a true crime podcaster asking questions. So she's saying, and Denise and Kim sort of invite her into the salon and try and get some answers out of her. First with brute force, really, and then with brute force, and then, the human way. Sit down, ask questions. What's going on? Who are you? Like, and they realise that she kind of holds the key to a missing part of their puzzle, which is Patrick has yet another grandchild. That Zoe's other twin has turned up, the boy. I don't know what to make of the mum. Is something not right? Like the house being bare. What happened? I'm gonna guess that Did Jasmine cause the adopted dad's death at 4? Like, that's a lot. That feels a lot to then split them up. Like, again, are you just doing things for the plot? I need a bit of reality. I can suspend belief a bit, but if you're just doing things for the plot, and Jasmine and what would have been cool is if they were actually twins. And when Oscar had bumped into Josh towards the end of the week, he would have gone, whoa. But, like, it was pointed out to me as well that, well, he could still see that. That might still happen to him. Something occurred to me that maybe in soaps, characters do not fully look like what we see on screen. I can't describe it. Imagine that yes, we see an actor on screen, but it's kind of like maybe like a chameleon circuit that we see what we want, but actors, the characters see something else. It's mad. I know, I'm losing the plot here. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, that, and yeah, it's not. I've got a lot of bugbears this week in EastEnders, and I don't wish to take up too much of your time today going through every little point as to what's happening. And I know I've been a bit all over the place. We'll do better. Still working on a format. It's been 11 episodes, and we're just still working out things. Suki, like, I thought she changed. I really thought being with Eve, losing Nish as a sort of shadow behind her, and just having and this adoption thing and what happened to Avani and that abortion and everything like that, I just thought it would have changed her mind that she cannot control every little detail in her life, and people have lives and they're free, like, and yet she's still here trying to micromanage Vinny's life. Like, what do you want? Do you want him under your feet, or do you want him out there in the world? Just because you dislike Penny and she's got Jack as a dad, sorry, you have to live with these people. Man, I didn't see them all queuing up for Vinny. Like, just let it be. Have you learnt nothing from Jags, from Cora, from Ash? This is your last chance. You don't. And I know that's bad to say, but you don't deserve to adopt a child if this is how you treat your son. Like, and why is Eve not getting more involved in this? Why is she not seeing how she is with Penny and with Vinny? Like, you're married now and you're going to adopt a child. What? And you're treating Vinny like, nah. And maybe this is what, again, sorry to bring up the flash forward again, but I'm guessing that baby is Penny's baby Ethan. So what's happened to everyone? Where are they? I'm going to guess Suki wants nothing to do with this baby, so that's why Jack's ended up looking after him. Like... But yeah, he's nearly 30. You can't micromanage him. It's not fair. And why are you being like this again? I really thought we turned a corner with her. I'm not saying she has to be a perfectly nice person all the time, but she's harking back to the faking cancer Suki that we saw when she first came in. We forgave that. She's not learning. And is this partly down to scriptwriters who don't know the characters? There, I've said it. It's out there. I'm sorry. You have to know a bit. You have to be changing these characters, evolving them, and we're just going back all the time. And I don't like it. There's the camaraderie from the 6 has gone. I know there's only 5 at the minute. Technically, there's only Suki, Linda, Kathy. Sharon's gone somewhere. Stacey's gone somewhere. Oh, Denise. So there's 4. 4 of the 6 are around, and that is fizzled out. And that was the whole point of it, was to bring these women together, and then it fizzles out. And what? So yes, they're kind of my biggest bugbears this week. Julie's realised that Phil hasn't. Was that this week? Julie realises that Phil hasn't been to see Nigel, and she kind of pushes him to go, but he still brushes it off, and he makes it difficult for himself. And then the Mark. So we've got Mark and Lauren. Something's probably going to happen there. Peter's such a wet blanket this week, and suddenly now we've got this whole nursery for Jimmy, and he needs this, and that's why we need the money. I mean, nothing to do with the fact that, I mean, I suppose Sonia's not charging them loads to be there, but there is a cost of living crisis. It doesn't have to just be this nursery suddenly for Jimmy as a plot point. We're just inventing things just for the fun of it. Not inventing things, like obviously these things do exist, but they just come up at the most convenient moments when they could just... I suppose it's to show Lauren that she'll do anything for her kids. And she needs that she has that pep talk from Cora earlier on in the week, saying, you're the strongest person I know, strongest woman I know, Yay. Is that EastEnders summed up? I don't feel like I want to go into much detail with it this week. I could pick things out. There's a little bit with Johnny where he says hello to Annie, but he's still not talking to Linda. Really? You're not all that. Johnny, you're not all that. You're not perfect. Give it up. You can't just cut her out. EastEnders. What are your thoughts? I feel like I loved Monday's episode. It was such a breath of fresh air, and then the rest of the week I'm like, I feel like we're back to banging our head against a brick wall. And I don't know if anybody else feels like that. I've not really explained myself well enough. I've picked out bits. It's true. We're just churning it out in the wash. That's what we're doing. That is my feeling towards it. That is where we're going. What we're doing. So, yeah, let's go and have a quick pick at Emmerdale then. Emmerdale. This week's biggest thing: Kane and family moving out of Butlers and deciding that they were going to move. I said last week I thought they'd move into Marlon's property down the road. Not down the road, but on the main street. So near the garage, near Sarah, near Jacob, near Charity, near Chaz, near Marlon, near Mandy, near Paddy. Like, a lot of dingles are on that main street. Instead, they've been persuaded to move into Wishing Well, back into the home of Zach and Lisa. Now, it's either going to go really well or really not. They're your two options. It's never just going to mill along nicely that, the kids get forgotten upstairs. It's not going to happen. But it does give another opportunity to bring a lot of characters together at one time and use actors, because we're getting less Emmerdale. It's a very easy option for some focal point. One thing I also thought of this week was, I don't know if anyone's ever noticed, but the cookware and the cups mainly that are used at Butler's by Moira and Kane, and I think it's been Moira since the start. It's Denby. It's definitely Denby pottery, and we're possibly not going to see that as much anymore. And at the time of recording, Denby Pottery had appointed administrators and were encouraging people to buy Denby. They're quite local to where I live. They were encouraging people to buy, to support them. And I feel like they're one main TV outlet of advertising, because it's quite a recognisable sort of stoneware glaze, has just been taken away. But that's by the by. It might not be even official. I always felt it was, and quite relevant to that family having those. So if that all gets smashed at Wishing Well, that feels like impeccably bad timing on ITV's part. So yes, they've moved into Wishing Well. It's a lot for the boys. At one point, Isaac has come home from school quite visibly upset, worried that his dad's going to die, and that he's just telling them that he's going to be okay, to be kind to them, and he kind of wants the truth. And of course, everyone tries to comfort him, and they're like, right, let's go outside. A bit later on, Kane's there trying to find land so that they can expand the farm and get back on their feet. Now, it sounds mad, Kane, but land doesn't just appear within 5 minutes. You could spend 5 minutes throwing a wellie around with your kids. You have to start making these memories. And I know you think it's money, and that's that's fair. Maybe that's his point of view, and mine's very different. But 5 minutes with your boys, just to see that you're okay. Like, you're not doing enough to reassure them at the moment that everything's fine. They just want to be with you. And I think Sam's completely right in that moment. And of course, it doesn't go down well with Kane. And we've seen in his trailer this week that he is going to struggle. He's going to maybe turn to drink a bit more, which doesn't feel like him. He had Shadrach as a dad for all those years. And the years that they talk about Shadrach was that he was horrible. What we see on screen in later years, not that bad. Just a bit of a clown, a bit of an idiot. Especially when Jenny comes into his life, and that always annoys me. They talk absolutely horrible things about Shadrach, and yes, he could have done those off screen, and that's what the child was like, but that's not the one that we see there. Anyway, so Sam kind of gets the hairdryer treatment from Kane for even suggesting that he have some fun and hang out with his kids. And I get, yes, Sam, it's not all about acting the clown and just being a dumb kid, but and Sam your son is in prison, so maybe if you have more of Kane's tenacity, I don't know. No, there's nothing that's fair on one another here. That's how it's going to be at Wishing Well. And Kane's like, well, my name is on the deed, so I do kind of have the right to live here, I guess. So, yeah. So maybe they should have moved into Marlon's old house. There's no reference to anyone living there. And they could have been sort of on their own more there. But it does mean that there's more people to look after the boys at Wishing Well, I guess. And there was a nice juxtaposition with Aaron and Robert moving into Butler's and using the Emmerdale farm stone, and Sam putting up a Dingle farm kind of slapdash sign that, things are moving. Everyone can stop saying, oh, we never see any farming. You probably won't, but there are farms now. And we'll maybe see more of that side of things to come, and how things work out between the two. Will they always be a sort of rival? Will there be a kind of cooperative between them? Neither of them like the Tates. So they still have that in common. They're still mad at Robert, and they're kind of mad at Aaron. And Aaron, I think it's kind of why towards the end of the week he goes helping to look for Dylan, because Dylan decides, like we said, that he wants to take the rap for this, but he's going to disappear so that people think it's him, the police think it's him. He sends a letter that the police will think it's him, but they won't be able to find him. And Aaron helps in going to search for him, look for him, and it takes Rona, because Rona, she inevitably asks Graham to get involved and says, you know people, you can sort this. And he does. He delivers not only a Dylan back into the village, but he delivers a line saying 56 minutes or 53 minutes express delivery, from door to door. He's found him. He's brought him back. I mean, I wonder what he said to Dylan to make him go back. I can't imagine that he did it willingly. He just frog marches him back in. So perhaps there is a part of Dylan that didn't want to go. Aaron talks to him because they are very similar in that Paddy is kind of surrogate dad to them both. And Dylan is like Paddy in that he has found a partner in a dingle. Like April, Mandy, Chaz, Paddy's done it twice. So look out, other dingles. That he's found a partner in a dingle and become part of the family and found a sort of surrogate dad. You don't even need to be a dingle by blood. You can be adopted into that family, much like, I know Vinny is now, but he wasn't. Sorry, I don't know what that was, a book. Something fell down. Very scary for a second there. I thought it was like a ghost. You can be adopted into the Dingle family and treated like absolute blood. But cross them, and even if you are blood, you can be... What Aaron has done, I know it's not quite as bad as possibly what Charity's going to do and Charity's done in the past, and yet she used to get absolutely ostracised as a woman if she dared go against them, and there'd be Dingle court and no one would speak to her. And typically Aaron has come off, I want to say less worse, but that is a horrible use of grammar. I do apologise. Aaron hasn't come off as bad as Charity has done in the past. So there does feel a bit of misogyny within the Dingle crew. Sorry, my voice has gone again. I'm going to have a little glass of water. I'm not stopping the track. There's some ASMR for you, because my throat is closing up as we speak. So Aaron speaks to Dylan and kind of makes him realise that it might not be as bad as he thinks there, and that he has Paddy supporting him and Paddy has his back, just like Paddy has done for years for Aaron. I'm glad they remembered that relationship again. It did feel like it went away for a bit with all the John stuff. That's nice to see that remembered and brought to the forefront again. Then So we've got a Rona Graham thing going on there. I wish she could have steered clear. This is never going to end well, and I'm really sorry for Marlon. Like, she's put him through absolute hell with some things. He's not been well. I really thought they do love each other, but then Graham's just interesting, isn't he? But he's also boring as hell. Ugh. Are there no other women for Graham who aren't Kim? Because then he starts delving, like, and I don't know why Kim's will was so accessible to him there. Surely she would have it logged with a solicitor firm miles and miles and miles away, and if he'd infiltrated their security systems in their strong room, then that's down to them. Like, why have you just got it in a safe in the house? So he tells Joe that Kim's left the house to Lydia, which it feels very soon for this to have come to light. Are we losing Kim quite soon? Because otherwise this is absolutely irrelevant. And Joe, like the petulant child he is, says it's my birthright. Well, since you were born, about 3-4 different families have lived at Home Farm. So there was never any guarantee that you would get it anyway. The Kings have had it. What's Robert's ex, Mrs. Lackland's mother and her dad, they had it. Like, the place is absolutely cursed as well. I don't know why you'd even want it. Like, it needs an exorcism or some sort of feng shui to come and cleanse that place, because it's absolutely cursed to God knows what. Anyway, like, but he's moaning it's his birthright. Like, the absolute petulant air that he is. Oh, like, and for what I remember, Joe, you were only there for like 5 minutes as well. Oh, his Auntie Zoe used to get ready for school. It was probably Terry. I don't know why you have this nice memory of everything being hunky-dory at Home Farm. Like, that's on you for having a warped sense of your childhood. Like, there's no guarantee you're an actual Tate anyway. Like, just saying, you probably should do a DNA test. And it's Kim's money. You're not entitled to some. You're just not. You're just not. So I completely get where Kim's coming from this case. So I'm not having you argue. So Lydia can have it. Like, there's you, there's Jamie, there's Millie, there's Thomas. I've got other, and Thomas and Millie are actually her grandchildren, not Joe. So sorry, but nah. And I know you won't like it, but you're not stupid. You can build another mansion. You can make money. You know how to make money. Surely it's time if we can have a rival pub in the mulch. I can't believe the mulch shove is still going. I see that got a mention recently. Sorry, just having another glass of water. Just build another mansion somewhere, please. On the moon, preferably, Joe. That would be great. But it's interesting. Some people and people find it very easy to get into Joe's kind of psyche about Graham. 1 minute he feels he can trust him, and then Kim's like, I think he's playing you again. He's not. He's a bad influence on you. So that's what's going on. As well. Is it? Graham kind of uses Dawn as a conscience for Joe to get involved and be like, even Dawn's like, well, that's down to Kim, like, and it's not Lydia's fault either. So stop making remarks and like saying horrible things to her when she doesn't realise what's going on. It would be lovely if it all turned around and Joe ends up at Wishing Well and the Dingles all live at Home Farm. Oops. We love an underdog story. We really do. Who have I missed? Oh, there's the Kerry and Jay thing going on with Pollard. I don't really want to. That's such a. What happened to who was Tracy on the phone to? I missed that. Tracy's been on the phone to someone this week. I'm gonna guess it's working towards Amy Walsh's maternity leave storyline. I can't remember who it was now. I completely switched off for that bit. I'll have to go give it another listen. But I think, it's not been a mad week. Arthur tries to put himself forward as a witness for Paddy and Dylan and Bear. That doesn't really go to plan. So things have moved on, but have they? There's just a lot going around. Everyone's moving house and not to the right places. Things are going to come up. But I think that's where we're at really with Emmerdale. The scripts are better than EastEnders at the minute. There are just a few little things that need ironing out, and I'm just like, like, I know that the Rona Graham stuff will be well written and interesting, but do I want it? No, of course I don't. Absolutely not. But can things stay hunky-dory? No, because I wouldn't watch. Everyone can say, oh, can't they have a bit of happiness? If everyone was happy, there'd be nothing to talk about and we'd have nothing to watch. So that's not going to happen, is it? That's not why writers are employed. That's not what keeps it going. So we have to take the rough with the smooth. That's just what it is. So yeah, that's Emmerdale for you then. Right. Finally, sorry to keep you waiting, Corrie fans, but we'll move on to Coronation Street. Okay, so Coronation Street, and we knew from the trailer that was released last week that this week was going to be building up to making maybe Megan the body that's found next month. I know every podcast for the past few weeks has been talking about this, but that's what they wanted. They dropped a whodunit, and that's what we're discussing. So Megan, so everything comes to a head. Sam finally speaks out. Leanne realises what's going on, and I mean, Megan, did you really think you were going to get away with it in front of Leanne? Like, she's been dealing with people like you since before you were born, probably. Like, and you don't cross her kids, even when her kids aren't her blood kids. They're her kids, okay? She might be a Battersby, she might be a Price. She's Leanne. You don't cross. She'll do anything for those kids. You know, she's not with the dad, even if they're not hers. Like how she's been with Simon over the years, and then losing Oliver, and you know, she'd probably be like that with Amy as well. Like, she really tried to protect her from the cult thing a few years back. Didn't really get to, but because she was in her own place with things, but you know, did want to protect her. Like, she's very much, and this is kind of why I think her and Carla have crossed paths over the years. She's very much like Carla. Like, they think the maternal instinct's not there, but it really is. But yes, so Sam speaks out. He's fully believed. Thankfully, Eva is there when he talks as well. So they sort of realise what's going on, and like I've said, it's needed. It brings Leanne and Toya closer as well. It fixes that rift there a bit, because all three of them, Toya, Leanne and Eva, sit Megan down. She is standing. And I don't know whether anyone noticed, but when they're in the back room trying to get her to confess, and she acts like she's got not a single tear. Not a single tear fell from those eyes. Not even a tear stick was used, because nothing was coming out. It was just an act. They saw right through it. She really thought she did a number on them, but she didn't. And then, you know, they realised, oh, she's still pregnant. This is the key to it, because CCTV has been wiped right, left and centre. How aptly that it was that the 90 days, oh, it's gone. 90 days doesn't feel like a lot. I can't remember what the rules are, but yeah. But then the police can maybe do a bit more digging and a bit more in depth and get some evidence. Phones have been taken, but evidence isn't coming through quick enough. And Will doesn't really, he neither confirms or denies, and they're all trying to speak to him like he's a victim. And yes, he is in this, because she's manipulative and everything, but I don't think he sees himself as a victim. He thinks they're all wrong and that what they're doing is perfectly fine, and they could just go off into the sunset and not be bothered, because Will is a child with a very naive outlook on the whole situation. Like, he thinks he's the big boss man and that everything's going to be fine, and it's not Will. So it'll be interesting to see when Will starts to realise what's actually happened to him. And is it because he's a boy, it's seen in a different way? Like, we know from what I've said in the past, like, I was so unbothered by this storyline because she was manipulative, but we've seen it done in other soaps where it was very different. When it happens to a girl, there's just something... And they weren't really focusing on enough things about this. But anyway, so it's all come out. Daniel's believing her at the start of the week. And then when he finds out that she's pregnant, he's like, no, you can't represent her anymore. But, Daniel, to say you are the son of Ken Barlow, you showed very little brain cells this week. Like, Adam was the true, like, came out quite sensibly here. And I was like, yeah, you are the son of Mike Baldwin. And this is like, whoa, like, can we not project this on me? I'm just doing my job. I'm doing the thing here. I'm trying to not ruin my business because everyone else is out to get me. They've got the whole thing with Fabian's going on, like, hacking them. Though we did fall for a phishing scam, and I think, man, maybe the brain cells aren't there. Like, really? You're going to click links? Don't think. How many times have you told people, go careful online, and you're clicking links in emails because you don't have an IT department? You don't even have an office. All you do is discuss matters in speed dial and the rovers and the CAF. Like, what's the point? Has his office set now been dismantled? Is that now the Undertaker's set? Is that why we just don't see it anymore? No, because those two ran alongside each other. I'm trying to think what we see now instead, because I just don't feel like this office exists anymore. Like, where is it? Do you see it on the tour? Is it there? Because he's not very professional. He'll just sit around discussing cases in broad daylight. So no wonder someone hacked you and leaked everything online, which in itself it doesn't feel quite real. It feels over the top. So yeah, that's potentially, there's quite a few people gunning for Meghan. Do they want her dead? Possibly. Will it be her death? If it was to be her body, I would think it would be someone accidentally killing her as a kind of overreaction to a confrontation with her. And that would be how she comes to be unalived. We've also got every time Todd goes anywhere, because Theo's still tracking him, Theo turns up. Like, it's every scene. And I know that's the point of what Coronation Street tried to put across, but it was like, oh, there's Todd, so I'll give it 30 seconds and Theo will turn up. This man cannot get away. And then suddenly it's like, I'm going to Belfast. No, you're not. You got more chance of you heading off to Felpersham than you heading to Belfast. You're just playing games now. You're drugging his drinks. Someone needs to find out. I thought someone was gonna like see what he was doing. There's no CCTV in that bar, not that they think to look, but oh, Todd. I just want to, yeah. And I know that's why. And I think a lot of people are hoping it's Theo. I think because we're done here. Carl, you can send a character like that back to Germany, no problem. Whatever. Stick around, mess up a few, like he could be a constant villain on the square. He could be your next, I suppose, Mike Bowl with a Lothario, in the fact, like, I could possibly put up with Carl. There's nowhere to go with Theo. Like, he was trying to like flirt with Sean, and I'm like, whoa, Sean, don't be stupid. And Sean was a bit like, yeah, he's weird. But I'm not going to say, like, he kind of got like, that was weird. So there we have, I think, who else have we focused? So Mal comes round in hospital. I think he doesn't say he knows that it's Kit that had a go at him and threatened him, but he insinuates, because he's like, oh, it's these gym freaks with their mothers, and he's like, oh, say hi to your mum for me, and he's like, okay, everything you just made, yeah, that made complete sense, and you realise it's him, so why aren't you saying anything? Like, surely you want to shout from the rooftops. It was you. I know it was you. So Mal's playing his cards close to his chest. Will that come to fruition a bit more down the line? Will he turn up again? Bernie's obviously still out in Tenerife. We've not seen her, but he could turn up when he gets out of hospital. Unfortunately, he has lived. That's so and this whole thing with Meghan keeps Kit in scenes, and he's trying to sort out again. Because it's Coronation Street, it's that everyone is in each other's lives, and when something like this happens, normally you don't know the police officer, you don't know your solicitor. That doesn't happen here. Once you're a solicitor in a soap, you're covering everything. You could be a commercial solicitor and you'll be covering everyone's like misdemeanors for assault. I think that's what Johnny is, isn't it? Like when you we had Ethan in Emmerdale, we've got Johnny, and Richie in EastEnders, who just they cover everyone. Adam is very much like that in Coronation Street. I'm trying to think. There's someone that I've missed that is a solicitor and he's like, I don't deal with this, but I'll have to. I think it is Adam that is like, this is not my means, but okay, fine. Like I feel bad for Adam that he just ends up having to sort everyone out, and whoever he represents, there'll always be someone that doesn't like it. And I thought Toya really let her personal feelings get in the way of her own ethical beliefs. Surely she realises that everyone's entitled to legal representation. That is what is enshrined in British values for years and years. You know, the whole, I think it is Magna Carta. Please correct me if my history is not great. But I thought Toya would be more on the ball with, yeah, it's not Adam's fault here. But she really kind of stuck the knife in with that when she was still with Leanne, and Leanne was having a go at Alia. Like, disappointing there, Toya, but I suppose everyone's got their limit. Was there anyone else that we covered? Not really. It's been quite heavy on those. We didn't really come back to the Maggie Jim thing. That was kind of last week's big thing. So they really focus on sort of one bit here. I feel like I've missed something. Gary had a birthday. Gary turned 40. No, I feel like that was it. We didn't see much from Carla. Not from Sally, not from Debbie in prison. No, it really wasn't. Kind of Driscoll, Barlow. Cannot wait for maybe Daniel to have to apologise to Tracy. Actually, no, that's what it was. It was the scene last night within the Rovers where Adam and Daniel were arguing, and that had a crossover effect. It was really nicely done, actually. It wasn't like broken down into separate little scenes. It was everyone's in the bar, and this thing that's happening is affecting different people, and they're reacting to it at that time. And I just really liked it. Again, I'm not explaining it very well, which is really great for a podcast host. But so you had Adam and Daniel arguing. Tracy was there kind of egging it on, reacting to it there like, what? She's pregnant? Oh my God. And then obviously Eva and Ben and Maggie were in the middle of the bar. They don't really want things about Will coming out in public in front of everyone. So they're trying to shut it down, but also address it. Ollie and Lauren are on the other side of the bar, and Lauren realises what's going on. Is like, this is what you couldn't tell me about. But she storms off with that because obviously she has her own issue with grooming and her past and things like that. And I'm sort of on Ollie's side of this as to, I couldn't tell you. It's not that I didn't want to. It just wasn't my place sort of thing. So they'll have to deal with that, and hopefully they can sort that bit out. And Lauren, but I also get where Lauren's coming from her own experiences, and she realised something was going on, so she wasn't completely oblivious to it. She had a feeling, but she didn't think anyone would believe her. She was kind of in Sam's boat, but Sam had the more support to say something, whereas Lauren doesn't have that. I think if maybe Max had been around, or she'd confronted, sort of been more in the Betsy and Carla and Lisa fold of things. Like if it was her living at that house and not Ryan, maybe they would have said, no, you need to speak up about this doesn't feel right. So but that's Lauren on her own. Where is she even living? I can't remember. She's not, no, because she's not at that flat with Joel anymore. She's somewhere anyway. She's not at Max's either. Where does she live? She got the little flat like Sean and Dylan had. Is she in like one like that over the precinct? Yeah, she must be. Anyway, so but it was just not, there was something, and it was the way it was shot and the way it was cut. It was just really nice. And I maybe that's me, because whatever I think is really great, everyone else ends up hating. But there was just something really very Coronation Street about that scene. Like it felt, we're filling out the pubs again, we're filling out those bars again, we're making them community places because we're having to use more actors over less time on screen. That's just what it is, and it worked really well. It didn't feel forced. It felt really dynamic into, these people don't want this, these people want that. So that was kind of it. And I think that's sort of Coronation Street summed up this week. Nina's changed her hair back to black. Looks really good. Yeah. So, I'll do my characters of the week on videos because I need to dye my hair back to black because I'm trying to get as sort of dirty as possible to take because that's what I've heard works. You could probably tell me different. But yeah, no soap swap this week. Brain power has not come to fruition. So yeah, that is out in the wash, done for another week. Thank you for listening. Episode 11. I hope there hasn't been too much coughing. I try not to edit it too much, but maybe that's to my disadvantage. Maybe that's why. To all 6 of you who listen, tell a friend. Share on socials. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. You can email outinthewash.pod@gmail.com. And yeah, I will see you again next week. Thank you for listening.